Hello and welcome to Twitter Town Hall. We have with us Ulaga Nayakan, the universal hero Kamal Hassan. Thanks a lot for joining us on Twitter Town Hall. Less than a week after logging on to the world of Twitter, the obvious question, what took Kamal Hassan, who generally is good at embracing technology, so long to get onto this microblogging site?
Well, let's say introspection and caution.
Caution is the key word.
Also the thing is, there's an old saying that the arrow strung to the bow and let go of, or the word which is spoken.
Yes.
It's difficult to catch it mid-flight.
And here you have to put all your thoughts in 140 characters, so that's also a challenge.
Yeah, but there's a joke going around. How can you restrict a man who's already done 200 characters?
Yes, in fact, there is this one from Ramesh Srivas, who says Kamal Hassan is officially on Twitter. When someone told him it only allows 140 characters, his reaction was, okay, I'll play them all. It's a tribute to your versatility that you're able to play everything. Amitabh Bachchan has been there on Twitter for many years now, almost 6 years now. Your friend Rajnikant also is there.
I think the earliest was Shami Kapoor Saab.
Yes.
He was very active on the net.
On the net,
Internet
yes.
came.
But you're aware that it could be a tumultuous ride and you're prepared for that.
Yeah, if it is uncomfortable, you can always get off the ride. That's a choice.
There is a tweet sent by Being Ridhima. She says, Kamal Hassan, you once said that you won't join Twitter because you are a very private person. So what and who influenced you to be here?
Friends, and an older friend was not around here, Mr. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. You can't fear retribution or criticism and not talk at all. So he is a man at times when it was dangerous to speak, rose up to speak.
Incidentally, there are people with the Mahatma Gandhi tagline. So sometimes you get a tagline saying Mahatma Gandhi follows you.
Yeah, he is capable of following if it's the right idea. But only thing is, I would never respect Gandhi with the Mahatma tag. I respect him even without it.
Okay. Now, in fact, one of the tweets that I saw, in fact, there's a grouse among your and Rajnikant fans who have pointed out that Kamal Hassan is not following Rajnikant on Twitter.
Oh no, I will. We follow each other, but I will have to now quote Albert Camus. Do not follow me, I may not be able to lead you. Do not lead me, I may not be able to follow you.
Yes.
And with Rajini and I, we don't even talk, but we are aware. We talk when it's necessary.
Okay, now our town hall, as you pointed out in that video that you posted, welcoming questions from your fans, is about freedom of speech. And as you pointed out, they are speaking with responsibility, not abuse. Now, Shekhar sends us this tweet saying, what defines freedom of speech for you?
Speech itself, and wanting to speak let my unique voice be heard. Everyone, it's not hubris, believes that his voice is unique.
Santosh Potala says, do you think freedom is misused in this country? And I guess he's talking about this entire intolerance debate where we have the beef ban.
Every country, Mr. Trump is misusing his freedom.
Yes.
So why not India? I mean, why in Europe it's misused. Freedom will be constant. That's why I said it's not like a fixed deposit in a bank. You leave it there and 20 years later you see what you've accrued by virtue of interest. It's not going to be like that. It's constant vigil. It's like your body. You got to feed it, guard it.
Take care of it.
Take care of it.
But when you speak about the freedom of speech, you have this cases like, you don't like what I say, you ask me to go to Pakistan. Is that a fair way of dealing with freedom of speech? With the freedom that you have?
That's a debate.
Okay.
I'm talking about simply saying whatever. I think I'm of the broader mind. Please do not mistake it for the broader Hindu mind. It's just a broader mind. I think these borders are very parochial and limiting for an artist and a free thinker. I think Pakistan is mine anyway.
Okay.
But the music, the food, and you've drawn a line, and I wait like an elder waiting for the siblings to come together sometime during marriage.
Since you mentioned Pakistan and since you mentioned music, Ghulam Ali was not allowed to perform in Mumbai. Again, he was supposed to perform in January, not allowed to perform. He performed in Bengal and in Kerala. How do you react to this group saying XYZ is allowed, XYZ is not allowed?
I'll have to hark back to 1,000 years when Kamban was not allowed to put up his debut show of Ramayana, which he has written. It had to be done in a neighboring country called Cheranadu. That king helped him. That's the folklore that we...
Yes.
So it's been there. Politics will always try to put one more ladle into the soup.
But where do you stand on this entire Ghulam Ali debate?
I think artists don't have... We don't even need passports. That's what I think. I envy the birds in Vedantangal sanctuary. Why haven't we learned from that? They fly thousands of miles from Russia to roost here in India. I think one day it'll be
No passports, no visas.
No passports, no visa.
Simple Impulse sends this question. Freedom of expression is sometimes abused to evoke hatred. What is the line that separates use from abuse?
I think it's a gut level feeling. So let's say ab is the difference. You'll have to really hold that, not work on a premonition or something will go wrong. And once again, as I said, cast your arrow only when you really want to hit something, to destroy it or capture it, hunt it. When those days are over, when you get your fried broiler chicken, don't go hunting.
Chanakya sends this tweet saying, freedom and responsibility are two sides of one coin. Hate speech is not freedom of speech. And we have seen a whole lot of hate speeches in the last few months, too much of intolerance. Your friend Shah Rukh Khan speaks, his Dilwale gets targeted. Amir Khan gets targeted for talking about what he and his wife Kiran were conversing. As I said, go to Pakistan becomes the surround sound all the time.
As a matter of fact, Gandhiji wanted to go to Pakistan before they shot him.
I like the way you go back to Gandhiji all the time.
Yes, and he's a great hero. And I wish we had many more of him. He's not what you call inimitable act. It needs a lot of will, a lot of courage to be what he is. What I like about, that's why I want to keep removing that tag away from him, because he's an emulatable model. And it's possible, and people say, no, he's an actor, he's a politician. I'm not one, but I am the other. So I understand him with great empathy. With all his faults, you can't find a parallel to him today. Not because he's in stamp, I'm not Congress, I'm not BJP, I'm not any party man speaking. I look at that image as a very essential man of the hour.
So when this freedom of speech is abused as hate speech, does a part within Kamal Hassan cringe? Do you want to tell the person that this is not the kind of India that you would want to live in?
It's like toilet training a child. It's not going to happen at once. I know I'm using a very derogatory term, but if you are a parent, it's not even derogatory.
True.
It's only a process. And we've been so long trained, we have to tell people to bathe every day, wash. I have seen documentaries telling them to wash their hands. That doesn't mean we're all tribal. We didn't think of it. Probably we lived in a clean environment which didn't need hand washing at the time. Now we can't risk it. So it's something you'll have to tell them to be clean, safe, and from use of condom to use of constraint in your speech is something, it comes with training and a lot of propaganda as to what is good behavior.
P.T. Joe sends us this tweet saying, where do you feel lies the thin line between freedom and anarchy? Much of this falls into the second category
it's
of anarchy.
Between the years. That's the thin line. And there's so many inches here. You could draw as many lines as you want between the 2 years. That human mind, which is still work in progress, could kick up anarchy anytime.
Abhishek sends this tweet, Kamal Hassan, don't we have to be more careful now while speaking at a public forum? Now you are a public figure. when you go out to address, I believe you're addressing at Harvard next week, again on freedom of speech. Maybe you may not be too careful while you're speaking in that country, but if you're speaking...
I'm always, as a matter of fact, I am more free to hear. I would say that to any Muslim who lives anywhere in this, it's a nice place to be, and we must keep it that way. It's not a duty of the Muslim to keep it that way. It's a duty of the rest of them. Whether you want to call yourself elder brother or bigger demography, it becomes a responsibility. You think helping an old lady across the street is a good act? This is even a better act.
But when you're speaking at a public forum, are you careful that you should not hurt XYZ sentiments?
There are ways and ways of bringing about realization. And sometimes it's brought down with a hard name, right from the time of, reformers like Christ. There has to be that strong word which makes them sit up and then think about it. Homer or Socrates, they all said certain things which will shock you. But that doesn't mean, it almost looks like they are being careless.
No. We saw, for instance, about 4 months back, a whole lot of authors, filmmakers returning their awards. They called it a Gandhian way of protesting. Now, is that also, when you speak of the public forum, expressing...
I was very upset, that's why I spoke.
Yes.
See, Gandhiji did not return his barrister title because that's something he worked for. What he returned is the suit and coat that they gave him and went back to his dress. And this is given with love, not by the government, by 12 judges who probably goaded by the government. And the work is for what they did. They should have refused it like my friend Jai Mohan did now, because he felt that proximity to the government through these kind of award will sort of dilute his voice.
So do you think it was a bit of a hypocritical kind of a protest?
I think so, strongly. I think so.
Okay.
They might fight and say, well, how dare you call me a hypocrite? That's a point of view. I'm 5'8.5", and I can't take offense when somebody says you're shorter than Amitabh Bachchan.
There are leaders within the BJP who also saw it as a conspiracy against the Modi government.
Most governments
smell a conspiracy.
When they trip on something, even at the threshold or a doorstep, they say, I suspect a conspiracy. We've heard it from times immemorial.
Deepak Kumar sends his tweet, Kamal Hassan, your take on politics based on religious sentiments.
We, right from the beginning of society, have been trying, kings have been trying to keep religion out of it, but it's a fantastic tool to use.
Fantastic tool.
Tool to use. It's a very tempting tool to use. It's a very addictive, usable weapon. So most kings used it. But later when we realized the state and the church had to be head of the eight, did it.
Do you think present day governments also use it?
We must do it. People should do it. Separate the state from the church or temple or...
For instance, UP elections are in 2017. There is a move to build the Ram Mandir before the 2017 elections.
Yeah.
Do you think someone like Prime Minister Narendra Modi should say, stop this, I'm going to talk only about the development, that's going to be my agenda and not the...
India can be proud of so many fantastic temples. I mean, I'm without a god, so I'm moved when I see Palitana. With 700 temples, we have enough temples.
We don't need to build
We don't need to build anymore. I mean, Ram will be strong enough without one more abode to live in.
But if the effort is made to build that temple, do you think it's only going to further polarize the whole...
Especially knowing fully well, it's such an old script. You're repeating it again and again. I used to be part of a group here called Harmony India, and that's when I started looking at what is happening with this Hindu-Muslim riots that almost come around the time of Ganesh Chaturthi. So I looked at it and found that the scenario, the dialogues, all are same for the past 200 years. Nothing has changed. They've not even changed. It's another ritual. Somebody throws a slipper, somebody talks about music being loud, or the street to enter. Nothing has changed in 200 years. I mean, no change of government. The British being with the iron hand ruling India, all that, nothing mattered. We keep repeating.
So you would want someone like Prime Minister Narendra Modi to crack the whip and say, enough is enough, let's talk about development.
I think he's capable of it, because I think bhakti is very personal feeling.
When he was the Gujarat Chief Minister and the Prime Ministerial candidate, he used to take pot shots at our previous Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, that he doesn't speak enough. Do you think the present Prime Minister Modi also should speak more? And
No, he speaks enough. We'll not goad him into more speech. No, he speaks enough and speaks well. But I think at moments he should tell this. He has the power to say that. And he has the power of the other sector to silence them with his earnestness. And say, Bhaiyo, you know I'm on your side. This is for the good of the country. He can say it.
Yes. Santosh sends his tweet saying, hello sir, how do we as citizens ensure we don't cross the line from enjoying freedom by taking liberty out of it? I guess he means that you take liberties with the kind of freedom you supposedly have in a free democratic country. So would you say that even freedom obviously comes with a Lakshman Rekha?
It should come with a Lakshman Rekha. I mean, that's not the reason why Sri Sita left, though. But you cannot do that. If there is more space to move around, that space should be allowed. It's equally mine. But there are certain things you'll understand over the 10,000 years. Our civilization is still work in progress.
Yes.
So we must take up new responsibilities.
So like banks say, you need to give your KYC. We all as citizens also need to have a KYF, know your freedom.
Yes, know your freedom. And we have quietly understood queuing up, traffic rules, yellow line. It's only made life easier. It never belittled any of us.
True, true. Mas Maharaja sends his tweet saying, freedom to question anyone, any practice, any rights. Do you think this is a good trend for the younger generation? It means that the younger generation is much more upfront about asking uncomfortable questions.
Always. A child asks even more uncomfortable questions. But it's a duty, if you think you are truly elder to them, to answer carefully. I mean, I've seen Rajaji do that. I've seen Gandhiji do that. And 10 days before his death, somebody from Gujarat during the partition come and say, you ruined the country. So why don't you go away? So go away where, he says. And they say that to a place where old people go. And then somebody, probably in the crowd, you can't talk to an old man like that. And he said, go to Himalayas. He changes the thing. But he said, this is my Himalaya. Somebody says, go here, go there. No, I will be where I'm happy. I'm going to Pakistan. That is what he said.
We are seeing what is happening in Hyderabad at the Hyderabad Central University. A Dalit research scholar committed suicide. There's a lot of politics being played of it. A whole lot of political personalities coming there expressing solidarity. 170 kilometers from where we are sitting in Vilupuram, 3 girls students committed suicide. Why is it that one gets so much of national political attention, the other is completely ignored?
See, for me, all communities are mine. I grew up in a household like that. But even in my time, when there was supposed to be a solid Dravidian government, I found that the Dalit question went unanswered. Kida Venmani is the greatest example in modern, independent India that we are slow on offering justice when it comes to, I think it's years of training that you can make them wait. Which, as a boy, I felt was very wrong. But unfortunately, this is not a party or an ideology you can join. I used to tell, can I become one of them? You can't.
So how do you explain this kind of a dichotomy then?
No, I think even my generation remembers Chaturvarna clearly. Chaturvarna should be forgotten. It should be gone. And who can facilitate it? Not just the people. Politicians.
What I find most distressing, sir, is that you have a 25-year-old Rohit Vemula. You have these 3 students again in their early 20s. Instead of actually being able to question, using their freedom of expression, freedom of speech, they end up actually killing themselves, which is
that's sad.
You know,
That's a crime.
That's a crime.
It's not victimless, and only thing they escape is punishment. But it is a crime.
Yes.
Because you can't end a conversation that way.
So when you interact with youngsters in their 20s, do you also feel that apart from that huge energy that they also have that if I get this, it's always kind of a my way or the highway kind of an attitude. I get this, otherwise I take this extreme
Yes,
step.
compromise is not defeat.
Yes.
That they must understand. Compromise is not defeat. Compromise is continuing dialogue. It could still turn, and especially who else but youth can afford to wait?
Yes.
So they should wait. I'm not talking because I'm older, because I am the man who acted in Ek Duje Ke Liye and felt bad about it. I told my mentor, I think if we are instigating suicide, we'll make another film where it promotes a living.
Okay.
And we did it.
Okay. Our last question before we take a break is from Subramanish Jaishankar, who says, what is your view on modern day freedom fighters like whistleblowers and leakers?
They are very important. You must have whistleblower protection.
Their personal
Because
safety.
without which, it is our duty. More than celebrating Gandhiji, we must celebrate these guys because they are doing something. It doesn't matter whether they are better than him, lesser than him, but they have that same kind of will to put their life at risk.
And do something good for the country.
For the country. And they are civilian soldiers. And we must take care of them.
Right. Okay, so we'll take a break on that note on Twitter Town Hall. But when we return, we'll switch gears and talk about some of the tweets that are asking him questions about some of his more controversial films and how he dealt with that entire crisis period. Philanthropist, director, have I missed out anything?
Let's go.
Prabhu Shankar sends this tweet saying, Dear sir, do you think you had the freedom of speech in your films without any hindrance? And we are just a week before the 4th anniversary of the release of Vishwarupam, which...
Third anniversary, where we faced a lot of problems. The fact is, no Indian filmmaker has had full freedom of speech, like as compared to the rest of the world.
Okay.
So I must complain that I've never had my freedom. I mean, freedom. And
tell us in terms of specifics, when you say no full freedom, in what sense?
Because you see on one side, there'll be a very important scene talking about the troubles and travails of a widow, and they'll censor it. And then you'll find Raj Kapoor Saab making Satyam Shivam Sundaram, where a woman is hugging a phallic symbol in wet clothes. How is this more vulgar than that? I mean, we always had this question. And in a land of Vatsayana, why should I not talk of sex on screen? And why should I always have to make it look like a medical advice? And we've never been...
Well, even the number of cases for James Bond were cut by 50% in India.
Yes, it didn't make sense. I don't care about James Bond. I'm worried about filmmakers who want to make films on, say, a political situation or an existing social inequality, or make a film on Kiravanmani or what's happening there, and right to expletives like any other has. And that is why we are now formed as a reforming committee to make our voice unique and felt.
We're going to talk about the censor board because there is a tweet on that, but Vishwarupam, looking back at it 4 years later, do you see that as one of your low points? We saw you getting very emotional right here.
It's high and low because it taught me so many things. It taught me about my strength. It taught me about the enormous love that is available, which I have neither understood or harnessed.
But in that emotional state, you even said that I'll leave India. Was that,
I still stay by the threat.
you still stay by that
I
threat?
still stay by that threat because it's not over.
That Kamal Hassan could leave India if
Pushed to a point, not only Kamal Hassan, any sensible mind you're throwing away. I mean, don't use politics against earnest artists.
And what's that point? Push to a point, what is that
Where
point?
you try to break him.
What is the threshold limit for a Kamal Hassan?
To make me kneel?
Were you made to kneel during Vishwarupam?
Yes. I was asked to kneel, I refused to.
At one level, it was also perhaps Tamil Nadu politics at play.
Call it whatever, I don't care. Freedom can be impaired from multi-directions. It could be, I will not just say it's my Muslim brothers who did it. As a matter of fact, they were as much victims as I was. So it's very wrong to misuse or throttle the only beautiful voice that could talk of freedom, cinema.
So does that make you more careful when you're writing your next script, your next screenplay?
Of course, it has made me conscious, self-conscious, which is the worst thing to happen to a good actor.
So when you're writing, have there been instances where you say, okay, let me cut it out, X, Y, Z may...
No, much worse. My pen pauses.
Your pen pauses.
So that's what they've done. That it is like, it's called Pavlov's theory, ring the bell and feed the dog.
So this was like post Vishwarupam. So that was in a sense a tipping point.
Yeah, I said, what did I do wrong? I did nothing wrong in Vishwarupam. It's obvious. People have seen the film, including the Muslims who saw it, realized that why did we make such a big, on whose command did we go ahead and do this? Who gave us the information? It was all misinformation on which they acted.
So now is Kamal Hassan much more of a filmmaker who's kind of holding himself back to an extent post Vishwarupam?
And probably, when I said I will get out of the country, it is not simply a mad emotional rush. When one of my respected writer friends who's no more said, if so-and-so government comes, I'll leave the country. That seemed like, for me, it's a very practical decision. All I know is my people. Leaving the country does not mean leaving my people. I'll sit outside and still think of my country.
Is what we are seeing is also intolerance of a different kind, intolerance with filmmakers who want to put out what they think is the best creative mind stuff that they can put out.
See, now films are coming. People are ready to come. Yesterday I saw a film, I even tweeted about it. I liked it, but it couldn't have been done about 2 years back. But now he is emboldened because he went outside India. It got accolades outside India. Now he's bringing it in. So the movie is seen with it.
So you would tell all your critics to be more tolerant of filmmakers who want to probably tread a new path?
Absolutely. And critics of, I'm not even talking about just film critics, criticism should be constructive, not destructive.
Not the go to Pakistan labeling.
Yeah. I will go to Pakistan and I will do films on
Shah Rukh Khan said he will not go to Pakistan.
No, I will go to Pakistan, but yet make a film on Paramagudi because I don't know Pakistan. I'll still have to make film. You throw me out anywhere, I'll bob right back. My buoyancy is towards where my people live.
Vignesh Hari sends his tweet asking you, do people misunderstand you?
Not all.
Because you are Kamal Hassan.
Not all. Those who misunderstand are those who are pretending to be asleep. I can never wake them up.
But do you get into more trouble because you are Kamal Hassan?
No, I think anybody with a pedestal they got a better view on things. They can see my toes, they can see my head. But if you're standing among the crowd, all you see is your brows and your thing. My full profile is in view. So you can just check him out and
throw stones if necessary.
Yeah, throw stones if necessary.
Dhruv sends his tweet saying, when most of your movies get into any kind of controversy, you respond so beautifully with the movies? How do you do that?
The movie was already prepared, so we wanted to give you a beautiful film. The criticism is unjust. I must repeat again, this is not only for a film which is, if I make a film about Hindutva, there is but it never comes from the expected quarter. That's the most surprising thing. Hey Ram was asked to be banned by a minister. I think she was a minister at the time. And she hadn't seen the film.
How do you respond? How do you react when this kind of...
Only with the movie.
Only with the movie.
Only with the movie. When you see the movie, then you will understand it is my encomium, my salute to Gandhiji, and they wanted it banned. It's ironic that it's a party member from Congress who wanted it banned.
Unfreedom movie sends this tweet saying, what should be the role of the censor body? Should it even exist? Now you are part of a committee along with Shyam Benegal who has been asked to reform.
I strongly believe we will debate it. Benegal Saab has chosen me to be with them to talk, debate and tell my woes and trials and tribulations of.
But do you think we need a censor board or the board of certification as it's called?
Board of certification is to tell people, it is like a bottle which says how many calories it is there. It's up to you not to eat it. If you're a diabetic, if you're a person with lactose intolerant, don't take this. That's all should be the duty of the censor board. Well, you do that with Wazir Sultan and tobacco companies.
Yes.
You say, and then they throw their hands and they collect taxes from the sale of tobacco. Treat cinema like that.
Do you think the man...
You cannot cut the length of the cigarette. Ban it totally. Or say that no more tobacco. Say no more cinema.
By when are you likely to give this kind of a report on the censor board?
We are working on it, but you know that it has to go into the parliament and it's not, the deliberations will take time, and Benegal Saab is a very patient man and a firm decision maker. So.
Talking about films and the manner in which we deal films, you have seen the entire controversy at FTII. Do you think the government, the manner in which it approached the entire issue, made a mess of it?
Yeah, because if Pune Film Institute is not like any other institute. They are trendsetters.
Yes.
So you'll have to be careful how I'm not saying kids
with some illustrious alumni. With some very illustrious alumni also coming from it.
Some of them have turned out to be pride of India.
Yes.
And then yet guys who are to become that. And some of them even know that they will.
Should the government have appointed a more illustrious name, quote unquote, to head the FTII?
Yeah, somebody with empathy. With
which this particular person
perhaps... It seems like it. Otherwise, by now, the dialogue would have ended smoothly.
My last question on this, from Priyanka Ramola, should 300 obscene crores only decide a movie's success? Are we kind of losing our quality then?
See, that's why you cannot call democracy the most infallible political system. We are still, it's work in progress. No, it's only through democracy that you get a person like Hitler to seize power. We saw emergency through.
But you are also a producer. Do you worry about the figures, how many crores it is making at the box office? You would, right?
Of course, that is different. But what stops me from not making my work pure? Why should my product be mixed with bad, unhealthy element? I can still be honest, put the price up and get the money.
But is it necessary that I need to make a 300 crore rupee movie?
I don't mind making a 300 crore movie, but it is not only that. If my movie is, well, then pornographic films are the bigger industry than Hollywood. Am I ready? Not yet.
Right.
By the time my mind is ready, my body may not be ready.
Fine. Okay. We'll take a break on this, and in our last segment, we will talk about different other subjects, including tweets which have come on the Chennai floods. Why are people wanting to see the same faces on the film posters and the political posters? What is it about Tamil Nadu?
I think it's partly the people to blame, partly because they like it somewhere. I mean, and anyone who is not in the group is considered to be a quirk of nature. Like, I don't see cricket at all. I'm not interested in cricket.
Or you don't watch cricket at all?
So they think, what's wrong with this guy? This guy needs medical help or something like that. No, that's not right. That's not true. Like, there are people who believe that there should be change, and I don't care what industry they come from. As long as they're good for the people, that's fine. If they are not, it doesn't matter if they come from heaven.
And you are completely out of politics. There's no way Kamal Hassan will ever get
I am political in the sense I make statements about Kiravanmani, I talk about Dalit rights. That amount of politics is good, and I vote if my name is there. Once they left my name out and said you don't exist. So what do? I think this is my constant quote. I said, the little dot on my finger, that's the amount that I'll allow my hands to be stained for politics.
Since you're speaking about Tamil Nadu and Chennai, December saw Chennai go through hell. Your office here was flooded, we have reported on
Yeah,
that.
you couldn't have sat here because the water level was above your head.
Yes, exactly. Now, Naveen Vasant writes, it's after so much pain that we got media attention from northern part of India during the Chennai floods. Your thoughts?
Pain, quickly they will. I wish Madras Chennai attracts attention, international attention without floods and without all this. We can do it. We have done it.
While there was a whole lot of criticism about the national media not doing it, which I personally thought as a member of the national media was not entirely true, when the same national media was tracking Jallikattu, it was criticized. In fact, there was a tweet to me saying that, why are you people interfering in our culture? You cannot have two rules at the same
No, you can. Let me talk totally another point of view. Pick up any Tamil or state newspaper. It doesn't talk about much about the rest of the country. It is my country. And very important news is left out because they are very parochial. The same applies to CNN.
Yeah.
Everything is about America. I mean, but America relies on the world. America is made of the world.
True.
It's a country of immigrants.
Yes.
And they neglect
the rest of the world.
So I think it's I'm not making fun of only the Tamil newspapers. Internationally, they are so parochial in their coverage. They are looking down at their own body and never up at the world.
Since I mentioned Jallikattu, now you, of course, have also done Veeramandi, which was a movie which also had Jallikattu. You are a strong votary of Jallikattu. That it
because they're mistaking it for the Spanish Jallikattu. Here, the original word for Jallikattu is Yeru Tazhuvudal. Yeru Tazhuvudal means is embracing the bull. As a matter of fact, the rule in that game is if the bull is hurt, it's very bad game and it's a very bad omen.
But the Supreme Court decided after seeing all the videos which were submitted by the Animal Welfare Board and activists from the Animal Welfare Board, do you think they got it completely wrong? Is that the way you see it?
Yeah, in the sense they must have felt, but then karate tournaments should be banned as well.
Okay.
It's a sport, but it's contact sport. I think it is, with due respect to Honorable Court, it's passed a judgment, I can't say, but this is my opinion, and this is freedom of speech.
Priyanka Ramola sends a tweet saying, Ahimsa is the height of valor. Is this Gandhian way a practical answer for today's global terrorism? And she is specifically referring to the Islamic State, ISIS.
Absolutely, but
In Vishwarupam, you have talked about it.
But do we have that kind of valor? See, valor is something that you develop by practice. It's like muscle. It's mental muscle. But you'll have to build it over time. We have done nothing to build it. Once again, like those upper middle class, obese people. We want 15 minutes bodybuilding. That will never happen. So ahimsa will not happen in 15 minutes a day.
So we are not a very ahimsavadi race, is that how you
Not at all, not at all.
We are a very violent kind of people.
Very violent in stating that we want vegetarianism to be followed by everyone. We'll kill to make that point.
Will kill to make that point.
Yeah, which is missing the point.
But-
I believe that vegetarians also eat life, because I believe that leaves and plants have life. They don't have a voice, they don't have a growl, they have everything else.
You mentioned about will kill over culinary habits. What happened in Dadri? There are speeches made, for instance, the Hyderabad municipal elections. You are told vote for XYZ party, then only you will be allowed to eat beef in Hyderabad. What is in my refrigerator? Should it be the state's business or any fringe group's business?
I'm saying, I almost started saying at the beginning of the interview, bhakti or religion is as personal as sex. You dare not ask me what I did at home. It should be like that. I'm not saying that it is like that. It should be like that. I should not even question you of what race you are, or what religion, what God. That should be secondary.
Nirmal Vignesh sends us tweet saying, is paying taxes the only social responsibility that I have for my country?
No. That is one very important thing. When I proudly say I pay my taxes, it's only talking about one of my virtues. It's like saying I write songs. But I can also act. But I must act to continue writing songs.
Bhupal Sridhar says, what do you think about making all the 22 languages of India official, speaking with freedom? I mean, that's his way of saying speaking with freedom. You know 6 languages.
Yeah, but all the languages cannot function. I make this statement. It's a very cocky statement. I make it whenever, when there is a lot of English-speaking people. I say there are a lot of varied languages, multicultural gathering. So let me speak in our national language, English.
Okay.
Whether you like it or not, we got a fantastic tool from probably then perceived enemy.
True. The last question before we wind up this show from Satish. What's a proud moment in your personal and professional life? I know there will be a lot.
Since my daughters are all in the thing, and my third daughter now is into writing, I think that becomes the proudest production for me, because they're all in that profession that I know best. And
There's also a move to act in a movie with Shruti. Is that on the cards?
Yes, Shruti and I are doing a film together.
Okay. And playing father and daughter.
Yes.
And when will that be?
We are starting in April.
Okay. Fine. Thanks a lot. It's been a pleasure. At least you have not got on Twitter just before the release of a movie, like many of your industry tend to do. But it's been a pleasure, as always, talking to you. Thanks a lot for talking to us on Twitter Town Hall. Thank you.